We're not going to allow these folk to stop us, okay? We can't allow the folks to stop us. What you're listening to is revolutionary. They don't want you to know this. Because what we're doing is trying to emphasize the importance of you knowing thy nature, you knowing yourself. But guess what happens in the fallout? Industries will tumble, things will fall, things will crumble, okay? And we're going to be teaching a little bit more in depth this evening. So I'm going to move out you guys' way and let you guys see this, but we're going to be doing this intentionally, okay? Intentionally trying to allow us to recover and get into our understanding of what life really means, okay? And once you understand that this is our right, we can do this. This is our right and we can do this. Trust me, there ain't nothing they can do. Okay, there's nothing that they can do. All right, and so you need to understand, like we just got through teaching you guys. Okay, you have elements in you. Okay, these elements that are within you, a lot of you guys are missing the what I like to call the abundance of some of these things that will cause you issues. So again, the fire element is the mental, the air element is the spiritual, the earth element is the physical, the water element is the emotional. And what happens is that when we get overly emotional, we can also start to create a lot of mucus in the body, a lot of things going on in the body, the acidity, a lot of these things. When we get too overly physical, we can start to wear on the bones. But another one is also to the kidneys here or the adrenals. All right. I'm just going to say adrenals right there. Okay. And then also the air element. You're looking at immunity, allergies, autoimmunity. A lot of this comes from that air element, either being too deficient or being too excessive. All right. And then you got this fire element here. Okay. So a lot of us are dealing with brain fog, autism, dementia. We're dealing with headaches. We're dealing with nervous system issues like multiple sclerosis and fibromyalgia and all these types of things. So you got to look at the fire element. Are you too excessive or are you lacking in anything? Now, if you are lacking, okay, if you are lacking, then you're going to need more fire. Lacking, you need the element that you're lacking. But if you are excessive, you need the opposite of that. So let's say if I got too much fire, then how do you eliminate the fire? By promoting more water in the system. If you are lacking, okay, if you are excessive in the air element, how do you bring that back into balance? By getting more earth element within you, okay? So lacking, you need the element that you're lacking, but when you are excessive, you need the opposite. And that's what we call the polarity recipe. That's what we've been teaching. That's what we know. That's what you get with your owner's manual, okay? So now when you call me and you said, I got hyptochronolite, they told me I got Buddha body dadadite. They said I got folliculitis. They said I got ripolacawalalitis. You know, y'all come up with all kind of names nowadays with these diagnoses. So the end of the day, what you're trying to do is contribute, or you're trying to attribute these things and connect these to these four elements. That's going to allow us to know whether you're lacking or whether you are excessive. Do we need to give you this particular element, or do we need to balance this element out with the opposition or the polarity of the element? This is the information that you're not going to get nowhere else. You can't get it in the doctor's office. You can't get it in your therapist. You can't get it in the church. You can't get it in your home. You won't be able to get this information. And so what we're doing is we're using nature to allow us to understand exactly what we need to do. You said, well, why are you doing that, Eric, man? What makes this assessment better than a doctor's diagnosis? Because the thing with the doctors and the thing with the pastors is that they are splitting you up. You are already coming in there fragmented. You are already coming in there broken. And that's why your church, when you went to church Sunday, it said, what? Do this in remembrance of me. Now, you thinking that remembrance just means memory. But what I'm trying to tell you is a twofold word. Not only does it mean remember, memory, but it also means putting the pieces of the puzzle back together again. I remember Paul saying that we should be perfectly joined together. And so my thing is that we're coming into this paradigm missing certain elements and missing certain ingredients, and we're coming into this thing with a deficit, and you don't know what those deficit is. And so you come from a baby to a teenager, from a teenager to an adult, and you've been walking all this journey right here in a deficit. You've been missing 3 or 4 of these elements. And as you keep your diet, as you keep on living, as you keep on giving and doing everything you're doing, now these things, this deficit starts to highlight itself more and more and more and more. Now remember that your body needs material. Your body needs material in order to live, okay? In order to keep on rebuilding you, in order to keep on rejuvenating you, in order to keep on redoing everything that you're trying to do in life, you need building material. Well, you already came in here lacking 3 to 4 different ingredients. That's just on the bare minimum. Some of us are already, look, they have a study that says that by the time you show up at the doctor, you could already be deficient in about 5 to 10 different minerals. It's the same thing as what I'm saying. And I don't have to be a doctor in order to know this. So you come in this paradigm in this deficit, right? And now you got this deficit, and the thing about it is you don't know what that deficit is. That's why you need the owner's manual. We're going to show you what the tendencies are in you spiritually, physically, all that type of stuff. If you guys are interested in the owner's manual, just DM us or just put it in the chat, and somebody will let you know what you need to do. Okay, so now at the end of the day, the ancient Stoics said the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes in the way. Yes. Let's share the lie. Yeah. So I'm gonna show you guys something else right here. Also, what your ancient people said. Right. Let me see if I got it. I'm gonna show you also what your ancient people said. All I want, all I want is to heal. Okay. This is also what your ancient people said. The doctor of the future will give no medication, but will interest his patients in the care of the human frame, diet, and in the cause and prevention of diseases. Thomas Edison. So this ain't even something that I said, right? This ain't even something that I said. These are stuff that these people have been saying for thousands and thousands of years, okay? Thousands and thousands of years, you guys. So this information is very important for us to understand what we got going on here. We need to understand exactly what is going on. So you got medical racism, you got all this type of stuff going on, and you keep running down now trying to ask for help. Okay. And the thing about it is, what do you need help in? So again, I just told you, is it the mental? Is it the physical? Is it the emotional? Is it the spiritual? Is it all above? What you guys think? It's all above. And so when we're constantly going through all of this information and trying to understand what spirituality means, which is the relationship with nature. Okay. Spirituality means your relationship with nature. Okay. When you're understanding that, then you're saying, okay, do I have a good relationship with the fire in me? Do I have a good relationship with the waters in me? Do I have a good relationship with the earth in me? Do I have a good relationship with the air in me? Right. And so that's why we teach people about your human frame and your human design, because what I'm really attempting to do is try to get you to understand how close knit you are with nature so that you can understand that that's the example that you should be taken from. Look, air ain't never stopped. Air ain't never stopped for you doing good and the person in the prison. The same air you breathing, the same air that person in prison breathing. The same things that the same sun that you're shining on you is the same sun shining on that murderer. And so at the end of the day, nature doesn't judge. It is man that is coming out and making his particular judgment expedient. But when you're looking at nature, nature is very subtle. Nature is very accepting. And so what I'm saying is, instead of learning from people, learn from God. God is nature, and God speaks to you through nature. But if you ain't got a good relationship with the sun, do you know what the sun's saying to you? If you ain't got a good relationship with the water, do you know what the water is saying to you? If you ain't got a good relationship with air, do you know what God is saying through the air? If you ain't got a good relationship with the earth, do you know what God is saying to you through the earth? And so the end of the day is, what I'm saying is that you're made up of all of these everlasting components. The sun never dies, the air never dies, the earth never dies, the water never dies. So then why are you dying? If you're made out of everlasting material. And so what we're trying to teach you is this everlasting life cycle. All right. And once you understand nature, and once you get the information from the deficit the deficit is the ignorance. The deficit is your ignorance of the human frame and the human design. The deficit is your ignorance of the true meaning behind why you exist. Your deficit, your deficiency is coming because you don't know thyself fully. And so when the Greeks tell you to know thyself, you don't understand that conception fully. So therefore, you don't know your mineral deficiencies, but you don't know your tendencies. You don't know these things about yourself. So you're constantly, because you don't have a GPS system, which is what the owner's manual will give you. The owner's manual is your GPS system, okay? If you guys are interested in that, you deal with us. But the owner's manual is your GPS system so that you can figure out where you're going, okay? You got to figure out where you're going. You got to figure out who you are. And so this thing that you're seeing here live on YouTube, this is a calculator. It's a calculator and a compass. Okay? And when you add a calculator and a compass up, it can give you computation. Okay? Somebody put in the chat computation. All right? This thing can compute. So if it's a calculator and a compass, it can navigate you, and then also it can compute. It's a computation. So it's going to be spitting out things that you need to know along your journey in life. It's going to be spitting out information for you to know along this yellow brick road. It'll give you positioning. It'll give you meaning. It'll give you reasoning. Okay? And a lot of us are losing that stuff. You're losing your meaning of life. You're losing your reasoning. And I'm here to tell you, that's what this thing is all about. Getting back to God, getting back to eating, getting back to nature. That's what we are attempting to do. So your high blood pressure ain't just high blood pressure. High blood pressure comes from what? Okay, so let me put this back up here. Fire, earth, air, and water. Mental, physical, spiritual, emotional. All of these must be addressed when dealing with any kind of health issues. Okay? All of these must be addressed. But what happened is the pastor at your church only knows this one. And he leaves the mental, the physical, and emotional alone. So you're half-assed. What happens is, you got to understand, I said this before, feeling good doesn't mean you're getting better. So the pastor makes you feel good spiritually, but it doesn't mean you're getting better mentally, physically, and emotionally, okay? You got to understand that. So that's the pastor's way of treating you, right? Half-assed, okay? You got 4 elements. You need somebody to know these 4 elements, okay? So now when you go to the doctor is going to take care of the physical. but he leaves the mental, spiritual, and emotional alone. So what happens is that you're getting the body dealt with. Again, he makes your body feel good. Doesn't mean you're getting better. Okay? Feeling good has nothing to do with getting better. Okay? So then you say, okay, that's my doctor. Okay, so then what my therapist gonna do? My therapist or my psychologist is gonna come in and handle me mentally. But what about the physical, spiritual, and emotional? So the therapist is half-assing you, fragmenting you, okay, and now you don't get any help in these other areas, then you're not really getting help. They're making you feel good, but you're not getting any better. Okay, so what we do here is we understand that astrology and numerology, and we understand biology, and we understand theology, right? So you got astrology, numerology, theology, and biology. You need somebody that know all of those, because again, you got to get back the meaning of life. A lot of you guys got high blood pressure, and you don't know that high blood pressure, right, is an earth element issue. Okay, and then also you got arthritis, earth element issue. You study dealing with survival methods that's stressing the body and causing anxiety. Okay, and then here the air element is all about immunity, right? So that's allergies, that's autoimmunity. All of that is coming from the spiritual side of things, because this is representing what? There's you have a depressive state of being. You have a grief and all that type of stuff. You're very sad sometimes. You're crying a lot. All this type of stuff because of the spiritual aspects of life. So here is the water. So here goes your mucus, and we know mucus come with a whole bunch of diseases, right? So the acidity, the mucus, the lymphatic system, all this is coming because you're overly emotional. Also, we're going to put hormones in there, right? So also this is going to be hormonal balance or hormonal issues, right? So you got mucus and hormonal coming out of the water element. And up here, you got all these nervous system diseases, right? All these brain diseases that everybody's got going on here with autism, ADHD, dementia, Parkinson's disease, brain fog, headaches, et cetera, comes from here, the mental strain. So again, if a doctor is just giving you high blood pressure medication, okay, but look at all these other stuff now that starts to get ignored. So you need something that would allow you to understand how to navigate through life, how to navigate through these particular things. And your particular gift that you should be able to do is learn how to manipulate the elemental resources. You got to learn how to manipulate the sun to your benefit. You got to learn how to manipulate the earth to your benefit. We've been doing this, but you got to know how to do it in health. You got to learn how to manipulate the air element, and you got to know how to be a water bender, because you can bend it to your favor. You bend these elements to your favor. But what's happening is these elements are now starting to go against us because we are amateurs. We're amateurs in this knowledge. Okay? You don't know how to water bend. You don't know how to air bend. You don't know how to earth bend. You don't know how to fire bend. And so now these things become a problem to you because this is all you're surrounded by. This is your environment. Okay? So these three things right here make up the environment. The mental, the spiritual, and the emotional create the environment for the physical. Okay? They create the environment for the body to live in. They create the environment for the living organism. Okay? So now if you're emotionally distressed, if you're spiritually distressed, and if you're mentally distressed, can't you see what kind of environment is being created for the body? Can't you see that, right? So what we need to understand more about is these four elements as we're walking along this yellow brick road. This yellow brick road is the sun's ecliptic, the ecliptic of the sun. This yellow brick road is the life path. This yellow brick road is the light path. This yellow brick road is the son of God. This is the infinity sign. Spirituality means your relationship with nature, not your relationship with something beyond the universe. Is spirituality was and will always be our relationship with nature. Well, what is that? Your relationship with the fire, the earth, the air, and the water inside of you and on the outside. And we give you all of this information in your owner's manual, okay? In your owner's manual, this is the fundamental understanding of what we do. And what happens is that when you get the deficit removed, when you get the veil removed, then now you can walk along this particular road without being blinded. Okay. Now, when you're walking along this particular road and you got all of the information that you need, you got all of the knowledge of thyself. Now this becomes a very, very cool experience. And then you ain't mad at this, and this ain't hellacious to you. It's not lower self to you. It's not demonic to you. Now, when you remove the veil, this starts to feel like the heaven that you're reading about. It starts to feel like the heaven that you were conceptualizing. Okay? When you remove the veil. And the removal of the veil is simply more understanding of your existence here. Okay? More understanding of your reason to be here. More meaning to your life than just clocking in and trying to get a 401k before you when you retire. Okay? So you'll see that astrology and numerology will give you what? Meaning and reason. Okay? Theology comes in and give you a belief. Okay? Biology comes in so you can understand how the body works. But you need somebody that know all of them, you guys. Okay? You need somebody that know all of them, you guys. All right? All right. If you guys got any questions, just put them in the chat and we will get to you. Okay? So the reality of this is, how do I heal today? Because people got issues today. They ain't really stressing about, I don't really want to know about astrology. I can care less about numerology. And I don't give a damn about theology. But I do want to know about biology, because right now I got a tumor. I got a hernia. I got cancer. I got diabetes. I got high blood pressure. I got arthritis. I got all these things. And I simply just want to know, how do I get over what I'm going through? You need to get back in tune with nature. And that's just not a simply said thing, because what's happening is, again, you're fragmented. Remember that this is a spiritual and physical realm, right? This is a spiritual and physical realm. So what we do is we take care of you in both of these realms. We take care of you holistically so that you guys can understand that we're not separating church and state with you. We got to go into you and be able to understand what is actually happening. Remember the lady just said, I've been taking high blood pressure, I had high blood pressure for 40, 50 years. It's because you're only dealing with the physical, but then you got to understand that this is a part of it too, right? Because digestion starts where? In the mind. Okay? Digestion starts in the mind way before your body and your stomach digest. So when you understand this top-down theory, right? When you understand this top-down theory, then you understand, well, all we got to do is marry the two. So here would be the physical, okay? And this would be the spiritual. So the physical just got to get to neutrality, and the spiritual got to come down to neutrality. I don't need your spirit coming down into your lower self. I don't need your body going up into your higher self. What we need to do is meet in the middle. And this is the marriage. This is where you talk about the bridegroom making herself ready for the groom, right? So this is what you need to understand, and this is what we're bringing to this world today. A lot of people are talking a lot of stuff, the world flat, the world round, this is a simulation, and this, that, and the third. Look, man, don't get caught up in that stuff, man. This is stuff that can't do you any good when it comes to your cancer, your diabetes, your arthritis, when it comes to your hernias, your fibromyalgia, when it comes to your autoimmunity issues like Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. This information that you guys are sifting through, they won't solve none of those things. Because it's all what? One thing, spiritual. It's all fucking with your mind. But there are folks out here that got real issues physically that need to have a root causation, that needs to understand what is going on. And so the ancient healers made sure that they kept these things together in their understanding of the human design. So therefore, that when they concocted herbal concoctions and when they did decoctions and tinctures And when they did all these infusions and this, that, and the third, they made sure to address the holism of the individual. Right? So this is where Harry met Sally. This is your Adam and Eve. This is your right and left brain. This is your masculine and feminine energy. They got to get back married in the middle. Okay? So I don't need for my wife to come all the way from upstairs to the basement. She don't need for me to come all the way from the basement to upstairs. We'll meet in the middle. We meet in the living room. And the living room is the heart. Okay? The heart, the love. Right? And so this is where we get back married to one another. And my point to you is that when you get back centered, when you get back into neutrality, then guess what? The lights come back on. And what the light come on, the light is instruction. Well, guess what happens? When you got instructions, then guess what? You got the instructions to remove the obstruction in your life. I know I'm going pretty fast, you guys, because I've been teaching this for thousands of years. I ain't gonna hold you, okay? A lot of you guys are looking for remedies, and you're depending on somebody's intelligence to help you. And what I'm saying to you is that allopathic, homeopathic, osteopathic, chiropractic, naturopathic, all these pathics, or as you can see, the pathic means what? The path. The path is the same. They're all giving you inorganic. They're all giving you information that is half-assed. So you got some good information, but then they give you the wrong application. So you see that your stuff never resolves itself. It's because you don't have the right direction. So remember that this is an instrumentation that can allow you to navigate and circumvent issues in your life. Make the right decisions. Okay? And that's the opportunity that we're offering the world. So no matter where you at on the planet, you can get back on track in your life. And some of you guys just don't know where you are. You don't know where you are. You don't know the life lesson that you're needing to deal with. Speaking of life lessons, okay? Speaking of life lessons, there are 12 life lessons, okay, that you guys need to understand and also know where you are. 12 life lessons. I don't know if I have that information over here, but I can just teach you it. But you got 12 life lessons. Somebody put in the chat 12 life lessons, okay? And these are disciplines. They are principles, okay? So if you're looking at going to high school, instead of you having one principle, you got 12 principles, right? But the principle is not spelled P-A-L, it's spelled P-L-E. "12 principles, or the 12 disciplines." Okay? 12 principles or the 12 disciplines. You call them 12 disciples. See how you put disciple and principle, but it's not disciple and principle. It's 12 principles spelled this and 12 disciplines. Okay? These are the life lessons. And a lot of us are getting stuck in these particular life lessons and life principles and disciplines, and we don't pass the test. That's why you go to the 12th grade. Why everybody graduated at the 12th grade? That's what we're trying to teach you. And some of us are failing in the classroom of life. Okay? And just like I showed you guys the other day, a lot of us are born in 6 to 9 months, which is 50% to 75%. Okay? So 50% to 75% of what? You're supposed to live 120 years. So if you look at 50% of 120, this is your life expectancy, 60 to 90 years old. And that's the majority of us are dying within 60 to 90 years old, been born in 6 to 9 months, which means that you're missing what? Off the rip. Remember, we're born into this thing with a deficit. So if you're only getting, that means you're missing 50 to 75% Okay, that's all you got. That means you're missing 50, you're missing 25 to 50% of the knowledge of self. Somebody put that in the chat. You're missing 25% to 50% of the knowledge of self. But also in a biological standpoint, you're missing 25 to 50% of the minerals that you would need in order to live to be 120 years old. So not only do you need some stuff biologically to get here, but you also are missing some stuff psychologically to get here. Not only are you missing stuff physiological to get here, but you're also missing some stuff psychological to reach 120 years. Now, here's the thing: 120 years is supposed to be the fundamental basis. That means that this is at the minimum. But right now, this is the minimum. The minimum we live in right now is 60 to 90, but this brother is teaching me that the minimum should be at least 120 years old. So if this is the minimum, then that means that we should be structured enough to understand that you can live 200 years, 300 years. You can live everlasting. But the only way you will ever live everlasting is that you must understand what's missing. You got to get the pieces. You got to do this in remembrance of me. You got to be reminded. You got to remember, and you got to put the pieces of your puzzle back together. Without the material that it takes to live to 120, it seems impossible. So what we're teaching you is that there are two things that you need to learn: the information and the mineralization. If you get the mineralization and you get the information, we can all get to 120 years old, at least at the bare minimum. You can't beat it. And so with this owner's manual thing, and you guys are like, what is this owner's manual thing? It's just the remedy for your life. It gives you the herbs, the foods, it gives you the nature-based interventions, it gives you everything that you need so we can stop all of this guessworking, and we can stop all of this machinery that's going in and out of our bodies, replacing parts and all this type of stuff. You don't have to do that. Okay, remember that the body was so sacred in the ancient times. Nobody would take your blood. There's nobody that would actually insert anything in you because the body was considered sacred. It took them thousands of years to even get into your brain and start. Even though you got the Ebers Papyrus and you got the Edwin Smith Papyrus, and we know that Imhotep was doing brain surgery way back then. It took thousands of years to even get to that point, because it was considered taboo to get inside your body. So nowadays, because I know how to take blood, you think I know what I'm doing? No. Because guess what? You have 4 elements to you. So is the spiritual illness going to be in the blood? No. Is the emotional illness, is that going to show up in my blood test? No. Is the mental illness going to show up in the blood test? No. Guess what I just told you about? The environment. The environment, you guys, remember that's what we just talked about, that the fire, the air, and the water creates the environment for the body. So you're going down there to the hospital and they're giving you the body test of the blood, but what about the environment? And we know that everything operates off the environment. That's why I'm showing you guys this yellow brick road and this nature thing right here, because it's all about your environment. You can't heal from cancer if you got cancerous environment. You can't heal from high blood pressure if your fucking environment is stressing you the fuck out. You can't heal from arthritis if your environment is causing for you to keep on the go and keep moving. Yeah, you're gonna lose kneecaps. You can't sit your ass down somewhere. Well, I can't. I gotta work. I gotta do this. Yeah, your environment, the terrain, not only on the inside of you, but the terrain on the outside of your life is perpetuating these diseases. And disease is a messenger. So when you get arthritis, what is that sending you a message to do? Sit your ass down somewhere. Wow. When winter time comes, what is that telling you to do? Sit your ass down somewhere. So that's why arthritis do what? I can tell when it get cold. So winter telling you to sit down, and then the knees in winter is telling you, it's hurting you because they're sending you messages to sit your ass down somewhere. But we can't, because we got to work, we got to do this, we got to do this. And so you're constantly trying to be in the summertime of life. Okay, remember, let me put this back up here. You constantly trying to be in the summertime of life. So everybody just wants to stay in the fire, right? This is what is preferred. This is what everybody wants. Well, guess what? You got other four elements that you need to do. So you don't really like growth and development because you don't really like growth and I'm sorry, you don't really like growth and development because you don't like growing pains, right? So you don't like growing pains. So you don't like spring, okay? You don't like growing pains, so you don't like spring, right? Uh, uh, you don't like people leaving in and out of your life, so you don't like fall. You see where we're going with this? So everybody just constantly want to be in summer, and you defeat the rest of these environmental elements to promote the right thing in your life. And so what happens is you burn out. Summertime is burnout. Summertime fire is also what? Acids in the body. So acidity is fire and alkalinity is the water element. Okay? Just like if you know about iridology, the brown eye is the blood, right? The brown eye is the blood, and the blue eye is the lymphatic, the mucus. So you only got this duality that you got to learn how to work with. The positive and the negative cranks up your car. But outside of that, two positives doesn't crank up your car. Two negatives don't crank up your car. So it is the recipe of polarity that you need to understand. Again, if you're lacking fire, then yes, you need fire. But what if you are excessive? A lot of us are damaging our bodies because we're just excessive in a thing. And a lot of us are lacking in certain things as well, but you don't know what you're lacking in, so you never get those things. And our people perish due to the lack of what? The knowledge of this information. Okay? Because this information gives you the knowledge of life. This information gives you the knowledge of thyself. So we all just want to stay in the summertime of life. Okay? And so we know that the summertime of life is going to be what? This is when you're flowering, right? So this is when you're blossoming. Okay, this is when you're flourishing. So this is the flowering. Okay, this is the flowering. This is the harvesting. This is the seedling, right? So you can just call this the seedling, but we'll just call this the growing. Okay, so you got flowering, harvesting, growing, and then what you think winter is? What you think winter is? So what I'm trying to get you to understand is that these are lessons, these are principles, they are disciplines that you learn from nature. These are disciplines, they are principles. There's a principle of flowering, there's a principle of harvesting, there's a principle of growing. And then winter is going to come in, and then guess what? Winter. And here's the important thing, because this is the least thing that we like to do is the winter. All right, we're gonna say resetting. All right, resetting. I think that's two T. Winter is the reset, right? So we love to be in the summer. Everybody wants to be in the summer. From Donald Trump all the way down, everybody's preferring the flowering. And I get it. You're beautiful. You're blossoming. You're flourishing. You're getting all the bread, and you're in your element, and you're doing your thing. So I get why we like that. And the number two thing, or the number one thing we dislike is the resetting. Well, we hate to reset. We hate to sit down somewhere. We hate to rest and repair. And then you want to wonder why you're going through what you're going through. You want me to fix your high blood pressure in the midst of your chaos. You want me to fix your arthritis and your cancer so that you can get right back out here to the bullshit. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You guys keep tapping. I'm going to keep talking. You keep tapping. I'll keep talking, okay? This is the information that is in your owner's manual for that little funky measly $50. We can put the pieces of the puzzle back together again. I know that you don't give a damn about astrology, and that's okay with me. I know you don't give a fuck about numerology, and that's okay with me. I know that you don't really care about theology, and that's okay with me. So you just want to focus on biology. So guess what? you still need the owner's manual so that you can get what you need from nature to fix your body. Even if you don't give a fuck about fixing your mind, you still need to go through this assessment. It's still necessary. And if you're tired and sick and tired of getting the wrong herbs, getting the wrong medication, going through the same old crap, you need to get your owner's manual, okay? Bottom line, point blank, period. So the least thing that we like to do is sit down somewhere and reset, okay? That's the least thing that we like to do. And so therefore, what's happening is you can't appreciate this principle. And when you can't appreciate this principle, then of course you're going to burn out. You're going to burn your mind. You're going to burn your body. You're going to burn your relationship. You're going to burn out everything. You're going to ride it till the wheels fall off. That's what we used to say back in the day. Ride that motherfucker till the wheels fall off, cuz. And so at the end of the day, that's okay. And a lot of us have the tendency to do these things, okay? When you're looking at tendencies, right? So if I'm looking at the earth element, let me put this back up there. I don't know why I keep putting it out, but let me put it back up there because, you know, I freestyle, you guys. So when I'm just talking, I ain't got no book I'm reading. I ain't got none of that. So we just freestyle. But here's the thing, okay? So let's go back to fire, air, earth, and water. Watch this. Fire, you're going to have addictions, an addictive behavior, okay? And also self-control issues, right? The air element is all about depression and sadness, right? This kind of gloomy type of overview of life and the world, okay? And then the earth element is going to be about stress and trust issues. Okay. The water element is always going to be about grief. Guilt and loneliness. Okay. Unforgiving. You see that? So now this is the spiritual things that are attributed to these four elements. Okay, so not only do you got high blood pressure with the stress, but you also could be dealing with stress and trust issues and doubt. Okay, not only are you dealing with lymphatic issues, but you also could be dealing with guilt and loneliness and unforgiveness that's stuck and trapped and suppressed in the human body. Not only are you dealing with nervous system issues and heart issues and muscle issues, but you can also be dealing with attachment issues to things and addictions and self-control issues, okay? Right? That thing is trapped in the body. And a lot of times that this is the root causation, and then this is the psychological problem, and then the high blood pressure or the multiple sclerosis or the nervous system issues or the brain issues are a result of the psychological, and then they become physiological. Remember that digestion starts from the top down, which means the brain down. So then these become the actual problems first. These are the roots of your problem. I'm telling you guys this. Your doctor ain't addressing this stuff. He didn't give you no pill for stress. He gave you a pill for high blood pressure. He didn't give you no medication for anxiety or worrying. He gave you something for the high blood pressure. You see, fragmented. That's why the shit don't work. Metformin is for your blood sugar. They didn't give you nothing for self-control. Metformin is not going to do anything for self-control. But the root of your blood sugar is your ass got self-control issues. You want to eat whatever you want to eat. You can't tell yourself no. You tell everybody else no, but you can't tell yourself no. You feel like you deserve whatever it is that you want, And therefore, I didn't go and metformin can't do nothing for this. I'm just telling you how TI is. So now you got so now you got lymphatic issues, you got boils, you got endometriosis, you got reproductive issues all over there. Can't have no baby, infertility, erectile dysfunction. You know why? Because they can give you the pills for those things, but you can't take no pill for feeling guilty because you've been over there cheating, or you unforgiving for somebody cheating on you or what they did in a relationship. You're delusional and you're lonely. They didn't give me no pill for that. They gave me Viagra. Viagra can't do nothing with that. They want to remove my fibroid, but it can't do nothing with this. And so if you don't deal with this, guess what? Fibroid come back. If you don't deal with this, guess what? Erectile dysfunction will come back. The root causation is psychological first, and then the result of that thing not being taken care of from the church, from our parents, from our therapists, because they don't know this information. So in order for you to be able to get back into holism, somebody got to come up here that can master the 4 arts. Okay? You got to be able to master the 4 arts. And so what is the 4 arts? Again, we understand it's the 4 elements, right? But then you also got to understand this, right? So we got what? Astrology or astronomy, right? What else we gonna say? Numerology. Right? And I'm not saying that these are fire, air, earth, and water. I'm just kind of put them up here. Numerology, astrology, theology, and biology. Anybody that's working with me or working on me or working for me needs to know these things. Okay, that's the pastor, the doctor, your mama, whoever it is that you are calling your caretaker. All right, they must be privy. They must be knowledgeable in the 4 arts. Not one of them. That's why you go to the university. Okay. The university. This is the university. All right. This is the university. The university, the college of life. All right. When we're talking about it's a hard knock life for us. It's a hard knock life for us. You got to know the school of hard knocks. It is the university. This is the university. And this university is teaching you how to learn these 4 things: fire, air, earth, and water, numerology, astrology, biology, and theology, in a oneness, okay? In a oneness. Uni means one. So can't nobody touch me without knowing this information. You say, well, what does that mean? How do you do that? Okay, let me show you something. Let me show you something. Even the most famous of the most famous people told you this. It's a hard knock life for us. It's a hard knock life for us. Can't you see that? Can't you see that? It's a hard knock life. Right? A physician without a knowledge of astrology has no right to call himself a physician. Hippocrates or Hippocrates. I didn't say that. I didn't write this. I didn't say this. I didn't do any of this, right? A physician. A physician is a person who's working on the what? The body, right? Remember that you got fire, air, earth, and water. Fire, air, and water is the environment for the body, biology, right? So a physician, person who's working on my body without a knowledge of astrology has no right to call himself a body worker. You can't know my physical without knowing what's going on in the sky. You can't work on me and touch on me without knowing what's going on in the sky. Hippocrates said this, you guys, not me. This is his quote. All right. And so this is the stuff that we're trying to get you guys to understand and trying to get across to you so that you can really, really start to understand what is missing in the medications they're taking, what is missing in the diagnosis that they're giving, what is missing in the church sermon that they're preaching, what is missing in the person, in my spouse, what's missing in my children, what's missing in my neighborhood, what's missing in the community of humanity. What's missing is that no one understands us and we're all here together. Can somebody understand the human frame and human design? Can somebody be bold enough to come out here and let somebody know that it requires more than just theology to heal somebody? It requires more than just astrology. It requires more than just numerology. And it's going to require more than just biology to heal the whole human and the whole human species. And what happened is, again, you only got 50 to 75% of this information. So you're coming in at a deficit psychologically, and you're coming in at a deficit physiologically. So how are you going to make it to everlasting life? But you keep walking down that damn church talking about John 3:16. Okay, well, John 3:16, which is 1:316, right? So John 3:16 is the most famous scripture on the planet Earth, and you are still not been able to get everlasting life. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, this is the ecliptic of the sun, that whosoever believe in this particular information that I'm giving shall not perish, but have everlasting life. What you mean shall not perish, but have everlasting life? My people perish due to the lack of what? The lack of knowledge about what I'm teaching you. You haven't graduated through just because you got a college degree doesn't mean that you have a degree of knowledge about the human frame and the human design. So degrees ain't nothing but angles of information, right? You got 90 degrees, you got 20 degrees, you got 45 degree angles, you got 360 degree angles. So if you are an associate's degree, that tends to be a 45 degree angle. If you have a bachelor's degree, that tends to say you are a 90 degree angle. If you have a master's degree, then that's your 120, that's your obtuse angle, right? But then if you have a PhD, a doctorate, and all this type of stuff, then they're supposed to say that you got a 360 degree understanding of a particular subject. And that 300 degree thing is this right here, the all-seeing eye, the infinity sign. You can see it all in this instrument. And I can't teach this no better. So at the end of the day, you guys need to understand that every person you're going to doesn't have what it takes to heal you. You need your owner's manual. Everything has an owner's manual, including you. And your owner's manual is going to show you how to graduate the university. The university. You have to graduate with a 360 degree. Not a PhD degree, not a master's degree, but a 360 degree is what you need to graduate this university with. And numerology, astrology, and biology will allow us to get that 360 degree. That's why you got that all-seeing eye on the dollar bill, right? Everybody's seen this before. At the top of that pyramid, right, is that eye. And that I is there for a reason. It's the degree. It's the 360 degree. Not a master's degree, not a PhD, not a doctorate. You need a 360 degree to pass the university, to understand the universe within and the universe without, and the relationship between the two. So again, you're supposed to learn this so that you can marry your feminine and masculine energy in the middle with your heart chakra, which means you marry them in love. Right now, what is happening is your wife is upstairs and you downstairs. But what that means is that in your body, you are divorced. So your lower self is divorced from your higher self. So that's why Paul told you that why the hell am I doing things I don't want to do, and the things I want to do I don't do? It's because you are divorced. Your lower self is not communicating properly with the higher self. So a lot of times the body is taking authority even when the mind is not there. And a lot of times the mind takes authority even when the body's not there. Have you ever seen a person that could be in the room but they're not there mentally? They're divorced. Have you ever seen your mama upstairs and your daddy down in the basement playing PlayStation 2? Because they're divorced in the same house. They're not on the same page in the same house. That's why there's 70% the divorce rate. Is because you get to break away. Well, that is principles and disciplines that they're trying to teach you. That you can be divorced as an individual person. And how you gonna heal yourself like that? There's no way. There's no way possible. Okay? There's no way possible. So we're trying to teach you about how to get your degree. We're trying to teach you about how to marry the two. The wife doesn't have to come downstairs. The spirit doesn't have to come into hell to get you. The spirit don't got to go into the lower self to come and get you. The spirit just needs to come to the heart. Your body ain't gonna be able to get into the spirit anyway. Okay, so your body just meet the spirit halfway, which is in the middle, which is in a neutral standpoint, which is in a natural standpoint, which is in a natural understanding of life. And the owner's manual is painting this picture to show you that this is the things that you need to do to get back into oneness with yourself. University, and you come out of that with a universe. Okay, the university, you come out of that with a 360 degree of the universe, and that universe is one song. So when your wife upstairs and your husband downstairs meet in the middle in love, they singing all around the world, same song. Paul said in 1 Corinthians, the 10th verse, he said, I beseech you now, my brothers, that we be up under the same mind and up under the same judgment, that there be no divisions among you. And that no divisions among you ain't just about a community development, but it's also about a individual understanding, that there should be no divisions within you. Oh, I got cancer. There's an answer to cancer. Oh, I got diabetes and high blood pressure. That's a 30-day or less situation. But it will require you to be spiritually online. And when you're able to do this, you're able to heal thyself, okay? Any other questions you got? Anybody got any other questions? I do want to show you guys this as well. If y'all want more insight on what we're teaching, okay, you guys can join us here, okay? Here at 7:30, 8 o'clock tonight. 7:30, 8 o'clock tonight, we will go a little bit more in depth here, okay? So if you guys want to get more information on this, if you got loved ones, if you got situations going on where you want a little bit more, okay? Join us tonight at 7:30. Okay, join us tonight at 7:30, and we will help you get more understanding of what you need. But the fundamental thing that I want you guys to understand is that you just want a remedy. I know that's all you really want. You just want to get off that blood pressure medication. and get the blood pressure down. We can help you with that. Go to the website, type in Vitality Blend, get it. You just want your blood sugar, you want to get off metformin. I get it. Go to the website, type in sugar, get it. You just want to lose weight, you just kind of want to get off all the medications, you just kind of want to cleanse yourself. Okay, fine. Go to the website and type in detox and get your 21-day detox lymphatic cleanse. You just want to get rid of your cancers. Okay, I get it. You just want answers to your problems. Go get your owner's manual. You just want to reset and start all the way back over again. Go to the website and type in healer's package or healing. Get it. But if you're really trying to get spirituality, okay, if you're really trying to get the reasoning behind things, if you're really trying to resolve some generational curses, if you're really trying to change your life, if you really want health and wealth and family, then you need your owner's manual. Okay, you need that owner's manual. Okay, you want to graduate this life with a 360 degree. That's what you want. I want my 360 degree. Somebody put it in the chat. I want my 360 degree, right? I don't want no doctoral. I don't want no PhD. I don't want no bachelor's degree. I don't want no associates. I want to graduate the university with my 360 degree. Okay? That's what you want. That's what I want. That's the all-seeing eye. That's the topographical view or topographical view. What they call it? Topographical? I thought it was called topographical or something, but anyway, y'all know I'm bad with these words. Now I'm from the country. But you want to be able to stand over this thing. And so the owner's manual will allow you to stand over your life and see where you at. And that's what we're going to be teaching you guys a little bit more in depth with tonight. Okay? The owner's manual will allow you to stand over your life from a topographical thing, a topographical view or vantage point, or that 360 degree, right? It allows you to see where you're at and see where you're going. And when you are confident in that understanding, then life gets a little easier for you, right? I can tell you why you're dealing with cancer. I can tell you why you're dealing with diabetes and high blood pressure, but it ain't gonna be through no blood work. Your body is sacred. We don't need to take your blood and we don't need to know your blood type, okay? Your birthday holds more information than any other aspect of you, okay? Your hair holds 90 days. Your blood holds about 24 to 72 hours worth of information, if that. Your urine sample, stool sample, all hold within 3 to 5 days of information, if that. Your urine, all that stuff is very quick information, but your birthday holds a lifetime of information. So therefore, the birthday is when you enter into the universe, or when you entered into the matrix, or when you entered into the paradigm. And so from there on out, you come out of the womb of the waters, right? So you come out of the waters. Okay? You come out of the waters where you're breathing with gills, right? Into the air where you're breathing with lungs. Okay? So we are the air people, but we come from the waters. So if you are the air people coming from the waters, can't you see the importance of good water, structured water? But then also, can't you see the importance of air? Can't you see the importance of your emotional state? But also, can you see the importance of your spiritual state? These things are creating the environment along with your mentality for your body. So the waters of your body is the most important thing that can cause you a disease. It can cause you to go back home, so to speak, right? So you want to be able to control your water. So high blood pressure, high blood sugar, arthritis, cancers, autoimmune diseases, are affecting your waters. And the herbs and the owner's manual knows this. And they're able to provide you with the right herbs that you need. Okay? Leah Allen said, I want my 360 degree. Yeah, you're going to get your owner's manual today, Leah, so you already know you finna get it. Okay? You finna get it. For that little funky, measly little $50. You're about to get your 360 degree on you. Not on somebody else's life, on your life. The owner's manual is for you. It's a proprietary thing about you. You can't go fix nobody else with your owner's manual, but you can fix yourself. And as a technician, the owner's manual does three things. When you get your owner's manual on any TV, car, whatever it is, it's going to help you do what? It's going to help you understand the maintenance or the longevity of that appliance, right? The longevity of that appliance. What else is it going to do? The performance, right? If you know the owner's manual, then you get to do the performance. So you get optimal performance. And then what else are you going to do? Optimal usage. This is what an owner's manual does for your car, your bicycle, whatever. That little piece of paper that come in the box for your little hair dryer, for that little PlayStation 2, for your little new watch you got, for your new cell phone you got. There's a little booklet in there. It's called the owner's manual. And that owner's manual will help your shit last long, perform better, and you know how to use the motherfucker. Your owner's manual will do that for you. Okay, your owner's manual will do that for you, right? I don't know. I'm gonna be on somebody else's platform, Emmanuel. I'm gonna be on somebody else's platform, so I don't necessarily know how I'm gonna be able to do a whole lot of stuff. Remember, you guys, I'm just coming back, so I don't really have a lot of stuff. I don't have no Wi-Fi, and I ain't got no cable, and you know what I'm saying. None of that. I didn't have it before I left. I wasn't a TV watcher like that, so I only been here for a week. So I really don't have all of the gadgets, nor do I really want them. But so you guys got to be a little patient with me when it comes to. That's why we having to do TikTok and YouTube like this, because I'm coming and going, brother. I'm coming here for a limited time, and then I'm going back to the motherland. So I don't have a lot of stuff at my disposal like I used to have. So please be patient. But I'm pretty sure that the platform I'm going to be on, they'll be recording. But Manuel, if you up at 7:30, 8 o'clock, I know you over there in the UK, but if you up around that time, brother, just join that platform. You know what I mean? But this is what the owner's manual would do for machinery, and this is what the owner's manual would do for mankind. Okay? That's why we know that this works, and that's why we call it the owner's manual. Because I'm going to get your ass to that 120 years old. We need to get here. This is what we have been destined to do. Soon as Adam and Eve bit that apple, they got their ass kicked out of the garden. He gave them 120, not 75, not 60 to 90, 120. You need to know how to get your 120. And how you understand that is you got to have a 360-degree understanding of life. And the university you must go through. Okay? Longevity, performance, and usage is what you get out of this. So it's going to show you how to get the best optimal usage out of this life experience. It's going to show you how to get the best performance out of yourself in this life experience. And obviously, it's going to elongate the time that you're here. And to me, I want to be in heaven as long as possible. But heaven is not after death. Heaven is in life. So I want to be here for as long as I possibly can. I want to keep seeing the sun rise and set for millions of years. I want to keep eating grapes and apples and oranges and pineapple and watermelon. And I want to keep on eating mangoes. And I want to keep on seeing the monkeys and the lions and the tigers and the bears. And I want to keep on seeing the dogs and the squirrels and the birds. And I want to keep on being in heaven. And so heaven is on earth. Why are you trying to leave for? Because you're deficient in the information. I love you guys. And there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Please go tell somebody about your homie Herb Man. And until next time, love Herb Man. All right. If you guys are interested in anything that you hear here today, feel free to email, call, or DM me, and we'll get you the information.